Another big Indian story we are following on a daily basis is the financial turbulence Jet Airways is facing. And just a day after Jet's lenders consortium laid out plans of selling 75% stake in the airline, reports have confirmed 6 airlines are interested in buying Jet Airways. If reports are to be believed, global private equity firm TPG Capital, private equity firm KKR, Blackstone and international airlines such as Singapore, Lufthansa, Delta Air, France KLM, they are among 6 entities that are interested in buying stake. However, nothing has been finalized yet. Reports say these firms have shown interest in stake sale process of debt-ridden Jet Airways. The airline lenders are seeking to recover dues worth 8,000 crore rupees or around $1.2 billion. The consortium has invited expression of interest EOI from bidders to occupy 75% stake in Jet, where foreign buyers can also apply to buy 49% stake in the company. A bidder should have a net worth of at least $144 million in preceding financial year. The consortium has agreed to bail out Jet Airways last month and seeking new investment. The lenders would also provide a loan of around $220 million. So Jet Airways is in soup, it's in financial distress and the bidding has started. The new buyer of the stake will own Jet Airways. Naresh Goyal, once chairman, has now relinquished his post. He is no more the chairman, but he holds around 50% stake in the embattled carrier. It's the worst airline has seen so far. Earlier also they have seen certain overall, some we can say that problems, but this was the worst, where Jet Airways had to ground its fleet. And we're joined by our colleague Pragya Jha from Mumbai. She is following that story very, very closely. A very good morning, good evening to you. In fact, Pragya, once again, I would like to ask you once again, the bidding is started. Tomorrow is the last date. What are you hearing so far? Are any airlines coming out, putting bid, or it's just speculation?
Sumit, that's right. 6 p.m. tomorrow is the deadline, and the bidders who are interested would have to, via an expression of interest, file their bids. And right now what we've got as per source-based information is that certain airlines, specifically one of the biggest European airlines, are in fact they are contemplating and they are doing their due diligence in terms of assessing the situation, and if they would be going forward to file their expression of interest to in fact become investors to rescue the embattled airline, that is Jet Airways we're talking about. We've heard certain names, that is Delta Airlines, Singapore Airlines, then we've heard other names as well. Now these are all speculations, Air France, KLM. So these are certain airlines. Other than that, we've heard international private equity firms also trying to get into the process of discussions and also assessing the financial situation that they would be getting in becoming investors in this program, which is anywhere from 31.2 to 75%. Now this is the worth stakes that are out for bidding, and this is what private firms or airlines would be buying from lenders, and hence we've heard companies like KKR, Blackstone, TPG Capital. These are international private equity firms who are expected, or we are hearing such names that they are looking into things they could be considering. Other than that, we had also heard that one of India's biggest conglomerates, Tata group of companies, could also be looking at certain prospects of this entire deal, and this is a bank-led resolution plan that we're talking about.
And Pragya, what could be the positives that can go in favor of Jet Airways, and what could be the negatives, because airline is in bad shape? So what is overall balance sheet is looking like, and what are positives and negatives in favor of Jet Airways?
The one thing, Sumit, that I believe is that the Indian government has in fact keen interest in saving the airline from being in fact, in this kind of a situation, and hence this entire program led by the State Bank of India with 26 other lenders on board was devised so that investors could be invited on board. One of the reasons why the government could be thinking that this plan has potential is because the aviation sector in India was doing quite well for a long time. And other than that, we've also seen that throughout the 5 years, the tenure of the government, we've seen that investments earlier, the government has pitched for international investments, as well as the mood in aviation industry was good. Now, several jobs are on the line if in case this plan, that is a bank-based resolution, it does not go through really well. So all attempts are going to be made, and it is going to be it's going to be a conducive environment for investors to be coming in, because State Bank of India, one of the biggest public sector banks in the country, is in fact leading this with 26 other lenders. So some serious business plans are out there, and we're talking about in fact the biggest private equity firms in Europe who are being approached. Now this is of course source based, what we know so far. They're being approached, and of course there is some certainty to that, and there is an amount of seriousness because all of this is being handled in a very serious manner, because the government doesn't want to lose face ahead of the federal elections in the country. While on the flip side of it, things are that there has been a recent example for investors, if they have to look at it that way. The government owned Air India, there were not really too many investors, keen investors we saw coming in for the purchase of stake in the ailing airline, so those plans had to be shelved. So if past experience is something that the investors would go by, then that could be one of the one of those things that could go downside. However, with federal elections around the corner, it will be just 48 hours away from the first phase of polling. Things could still look okay and look good, and by tomorrow, of course, the deadline for the biddings to be coming in gets over by 6 p.m. and tomorrow is the 10th of April.
And one last question before I let you go, Pragya. Why is government interested in saving Jet Airways? Is it because of the employees, or because the overall market will have a bad impact? And also, can you tell us how's it going as far as airfares are concerned? Because when the fleet is down, definitely the fares would be up. So what's your assessment over there?
That's right, Sumit. One of the preludes to why a situation like this came in for Jet Airways was because at a time, multiple airlines gave competitive prices on air ticketing to customers, and Jet was one of the premium airlines in the country. And now, to keep up to the competition, it was also seen that Jet was underselling in fact, and had brought down its rate by quite a margin. Now this really led to things going offside for the airline, because low budget airlines were really the trend of the season. We had seen travelers going more with that, and luxury airlines was something that was not preferred really by travelers. Of course, this has taken a hit on the mood of the travelers, but on the other side of things, it's also that since the over 1/3 of Jet's fleet, that is 1/3 of the airlines, are grounded, this has become an opportune moment for rival airlines, because more of the Jet slots, as we know from ground situation in Mumbai, have been given to rival airlines that are there, because they are now going to and fro on multiple routes, and this has given some opportunity to them as well. While on the client side, that is for customers, definitely in the beginning, number of cancellations from Jet really had resulted in disappointment, and last minute hike of fares did in fact prompt many people to cancel their plans. But now, keeping vacations in mind, of course rival airlines have put out more options for travelers so that inconvenience does not creep in. So this is the present situation right now.
Thank you, Pragya, for getting us all these details on this important jet developing story.